Driven by trainer Lee Campbell, Wayne lost 20 kilos in the first 2 months of his new life.
Pretty happy about that.
Mate, you should be ecstatic about that.
Then underwent a stomach stapling surgery.
The lead up to surgery was very nerve-wracking. Just wanted to get it over and done with.
Outwardly, his new fitness is paying off.
Come on, get it out.
But inside, his fear of being made fun of because of his weight remains.
Every time that ball hits the ground, it's getting rid of some baggage.
My goal, besides the fact of getting myself healthy, is just seeing what it's going to be like to be 100 kilos, hopefully by the end of the year. That's sort of the driving thing behind me, just to experience everything again for the first time, not having the weight sort of in the back of your mind.
Ever since being bullied as a fat kid, Wayne's avoided making himself a target hanging out with other boys. Now that's about to change.
Take off. Hard man on man.
Being overweight, that's something I have always avoided, was the groups of people, and so I'm going to have to deal with that, plus the fact of actually physically exercising. But the way to look at it is, don't know what's going to happen until you give it a shot, so that's what we're here to do.
Team sports were once this young boy's worst nightmare. And now it's a young man's dream come true.
It's a real journey of self-discovery, isn't it? I mean, you are rediscovering yourself as you're sort of losing size. Have you surprised yourself in any way?
Yeah, well, I've never played like a team sport and stuff when I was in school, but for years, like, I've been at barbecues and parties and stuff like that where all the boys would go have a kick of the footy, and it's just, I've always sort of thought, no, I don't need to do that. Why would you want to go run around like an idiot for? And it's like, I just did it for a couple of hours, had an absolute ball, and like jumped back into the car, and I'm sitting there and I've just like put the key in the ignition, and I've like nearly like started to burst into tears, and then I'm like, just had this overwhelming feeling. And so those sort of moments have been...
That's euphoric.
Yeah, it's been the best part of this journey. I know I've still got a long way to go to sort of make it through a full-on session with the boys, but coming from doing nothing to sort of half keeping up with the A's is a massive achievement for me and something I'm definitely very proud of.
Wayne's always felt too fat to travel on a plane. Instead, he's hidden away and never left Adelaide.
I think it's just an apprehension just from being overweight and knowing that airplane seats aren't exactly the biggest seats in the world.
With his second weigh-in looming, it's goodbye Adelaide, hello Sydney, and his first training session with Lee in more than a month.
Now's where the transformation really starts to happen. This is where you start to transform everything else now, physicality-wise. Brain-wise, you're there, now it's just all physical. So we're going to up the level. We're going to go back to the start where we find this man inside, right? Step out of the shadows, into the light. Look up to the front. 4, 5, I've got you. Now you're starting to visualise and feel how good it is to feel great and strong and be proud of the man he's becoming. He's getting out of being a little boy into a man now, and he's got a man's body, he's got a man's attitude, and it's about him being strong.
Being in Sydney, like coming from Adelaide, never leaving Adelaide before, and not thinking anything about not leaving Adelaide, basically just awakened that sort of, I need to go out and see things, like, I need to get out in the world. That rehatching myself and building a new identity as the slimmer, newer version of Wayne, like, he loves to travel. And Sydney was the first destination on a very long list.
It's more than 2 months since Wayne's last weigh-in. His drastic weight loss is obvious in the excess skin now hanging from his body. 6 months ago, he was more than 220 kilos. 2 months ago, Wayne was just over 170. Now is the day of reckoning. To keep up his goal of losing half his body weight in a year, Wayne needs to lose at least 10 kilos.
Training kills me every time I go out and train, but anyone can go out and train. It's getting yourself sorted out where you can actually say, I'm going to achieve a goal and know in your own mind that you are going to do it.
Wayno, up to the scales. Your weight today is